Welcome to the Beyond the Classroom podcast. I'm so excited today to have Lucy Willing on our podcast today. She is the operations director at Love Your School. So, Lucy, welcome this morning. I'm so glad to have you on.
Thank you so much, Allison. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having
Of
me.
course, I'm excited to talk to you about what you guys are doing there. I've heard so many good things. And so the first question I have is, how did the idea for Love Your School first take root?
Totally. So at Love Your School, we believe that every child deserves to be in an education environment that best meets their unique needs. We launched back in 2019, and our founder and CEO, Jenny Clark, lived that experience herself with trying to find her kiddos the best education environment for them. She realized as she was homeschooling that her kiddos were having a hard time reading. And she thought, why are they having a hard time reading? I don't understand. So she went to the district schools to get evaluated, and they said, hey, you must not be a very good teacher that they can't read. Come to find out, they actually have severe dyslexia and dysgraphia. And that's when she was like, I need to get an evaluation for my kiddos, and I need to find another option for them so that they're actually able to learn well. And so that's where Love Your School started. She walked through the evaluation process, and she got them on an ESA, because at the time, kiddos with disabilities could be on an ESA.
Yeah.
And so she got them on an ESA, and now they're learning and growing and thriving. And she realized, hey, if this experience was so hard for me, I'm sure it's so hard for other parents. And that's where Love Your School started. She wanted other parents to be able to be supported and advocated for as they navigate their child's education journey as well.
Yeah, I love that. I know how how challenging it can be, and
Yeah.
just to have someone or an organization that is helping these families kind of navigate the system and answer
Mhm.
questions. It's so amazing. Um, and I know for us at Beyond the Classroom podcast, we are, finding and sharing resources for our special needs families. And so
Mhm.
I'm going to probably the majority of the next questions I'm going to ask you are about that. And so
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, what are some of the biggest hurdles that parents of special needs kids face when it comes to school? And I know you described what her experience was, and I know that's very similar to it's not an uncommon story, but if you just want to kind of elaborate on some of the other challenges that you see.
Totally. So a lot of families, well, we believe here at Love Your School that families know their child best, and then
Yeah.
that their voice matters the most.
Mm.
But even with that, when they, start to realize like, hey, my kiddo is really struggling when they leave school. They're somehow just crashing out, not doing very well, and I think there's something else going on. Meanwhile, their child is holding it together all day and maybe even performing academically. We'll
Yeah.
see a parent say, hey, I think something else is going on. They'll go to the school, and the school will say, well, no, they're performing academically, nothing's wrong. Meanwhile, the kiddo might have high functioning autism.
Yeah.
And so it's really having their voices be heard at the school to say, hey, I know my child best. I know when something's wrong, and I do
Yeah.
think there's something else going on here. That's one of the major issues that we see on our side. So
Mm.
a lot of what we do, and so any of your listeners listening in, if you have a hunch, like my kiddo is not doing very well, or I can just tell that something's wrong and that they need maybe some extra supports, we can help you take that next step for a request for an evaluation and walk you through some of maybe some things that could be helpful to get you one of those at the district school.
Yeah. I love that you said, that parents know. We know our
Yeah,
kids. Yes, it's
we
just this,
do.
it's a feeling like something isn't right.
Mhm.
And when you're
Yeah.
being told, oh no, there's nothing wrong, you're like, no, but I think there is. So, and
Yes.
and you just know. And so yeah, I love that you are walking beside these parents who are trying to navigate how, where they should go to find these resources. So I know that families can feel isolated. We work with a lot of families as well that share that, and they're overwhelmed. So what is the first step that they should take in the process of finding a school that's the right fit?
Totally. So this question is so good and it's a little bit triaged. So I'm
Yes.
gonna kind of dive into that a little bit. So
Okay.
one, know that a parent's instinct is totally right
Yeah.
and that they should explore and look into that. And
Yeah.
one of the ways that we think the first step would be the most helpful would honestly be to request an evaluation if you suspect that your kiddo has an evaluation or needs an evaluation. So
Okay.
this would be kiddos, K through 12. Kind of going through this process. Now, and the reason why it's really helpful to get an evaluation at the district is one, it's helping the district fulfill a federal child fine law. So under
Okay.
federal child fine law, kiddos are meant to be identified for special needs and services. And so we're helping them actually identify the kiddos in their area because this applies to homeschool kiddos, private school
Yep.
kiddos, all kiddos, not just kiddos in the public school. So one, we can go get district paperwork for your child. And what this district paperwork does is it unlocks more funding options for them to find a school. And what I mean by this is, if a kiddo has a diagnosis, gets evaluated, gets a diagnosis of specific learning disability in reading, then what will happen there is they can get an ESA, a disability category. And when this happens, they can unlock a debit card as it stands right now. This debit card can pay for therapy, tutoring services, that kind of thing. And then they can also, if they want to do an STO route or a tax credit scholarship, they can also unlock more funding that way through an STO. And an STO, the specific category they would want to do would be disability, disabled and displaced disability categories.
Okay.
And you need district paperwork to unlock that funding. So while a family might be able to go get a private diagnosis and upload that paperwork for an ESA to find a school, they might not be able to do that with an STO because you actually need district paperwork. And a STO will allow families with a kiddo maybe with dyslexia have more funding that's geared towards their school, whereas an ESA award amount might be 76, like 7,600.
Okay.
So the award could be a lot less on an ESA with a diagnosis like dyslexia, but a child's full tuition might be covered on an STO with district paperwork. So the
Okay.
first
Yeah.
step is really triaging. Does the family
Yeah.
need district paperwork? Do they feel like that they can go through that? We can help them. And then that can unlock more funding options for them to find a school for their kiddo.
Okay. That's super helpful for our families to know. So once they've kind of walked through that, I want to talk. I want you to talk, if you would, about some green flags, green
Yeah.
flags that parents should look for when they actually start to visit schools, to see if it will serve their child well.
Absolutely. So you mentioned visit schools. That's huge. Having the parent go and tour the school is so important because they get a feel for how is my child interacting in this environment? Do they
Yeah.
look happy? Do they look excited? Are the teachers engaged with them? Is the administration able to answer my questions and are they listening to my voice? Do I get along with the teachers? Do they seem like they trust me? So that's a huge step, making sure that you feel like your child is seen and heard, and then also your voice matters in those meetings too. And before we even recommend parents going to a school tour, we recommend them kind of taking a step back and thinking through what are my absolute needs and what are my really strong wants. So
Yeah.
absolute needs in a school can be something like transportation. Is there a way that they can actually get to this school? My kiddo has a really specific disability. Do they have services for my child there? Those would be what we would
Right.
consider needs. And then wants is this the curriculum that I want? Is this the student to teacher ratio that I want? Do I want school uniforms? Do I want extracurricular activities after school? Those can be really strong factors. But if your kiddo's unsafe or they can't even get to the school in the first place.
Yeah.
It's kind of triaging those initial needs versus wants, and then always recommending the tour. And we really do recommend families to start touring schools January, February, but
Okay.
even now in September, if you're getting a hunch that this school might not be a good fit for your child, start looking
Yeah.
now, because the reality is that those those application processes for those schools, the wait list, they start to fill up, and we don't want you to miss that.
That's a great point. Yeah, that is a great point. And I love what you said about the want and the need list. That
Mhm.
is a really good point. You know, that will maybe help kind of, weed out some schools that won't work. So
Totally.
that's great. So I also wanted to, I've heard wonderful things about you guys and what you're doing, and I know you're making such a difference in the lives of so many people, so many families. Could you share a moment when you have seen a child, or maybe it's more than one? I'm sure you have lots of stories, but when you've seen a child thrive in the right environment because of your work?
Oh, thanks so much for that question. I know I'm trying to like pull from all of these stories that we've heard from families across the years, but one really stands out to me, and I'm gonna not use any names for
Yeah.
privacy, but let's just call this mom Jess.
Okay.
So Jess came to us. She heard about us through a friend and said, "Hey, if you're needing help with the ESA program or an empowerment scholarship account, you should really check out Love Your School." And her daughter at this point had an autism diagnosis. She was, in her later years of high school. But this mom was starting to feel panicked, like, my daughter's been begging me for more social interaction and more experiences with others, and I'm just not able to provide that because I've been homeschooling her all these years.
Mm.
So we spent time really talking with Jess through this, asking her questions, kind of figuring out what might be a best fit for her. Turns out it was an ESA, so we walked her through the ESA process. Her child now is absolutely thriving. Last we heard, she's even getting a therapy dog, which is huge.
Oh, yes.
She like loves dogs, and that's
Oh,
unlocking so much confidence for her.
oh,
She's
yeah.
been doing enrichment classes. She's sewing, so she's just really taking off in all these extra things that really prepare her for her future that wouldn't have been possible without the
Yeah.
ESA. So it's so exciting and so encouraging that something might be working for a family, for 15 years. And then all of a sudden, something switches, their daughter or son changes a little bit, they need something different, and that's what the ESA allows them to do, is explore those different possibilities for their children. So it was a real honor to walk with her through that, and really exciting that she's discovering more things that she is realizing about herself.
Yeah, I love that. And that is such a, I'm sure you have hundreds of stories like that, but just that one, I mean, seeing a child thrive is such a gift. And
Yes.
so talking about, I know where you've been, I want to talk about now where you're going
Yeah.
and the future of Love Your School. So, what excites you most? Is there anything you can share with us about anything that you have coming soon, or information that you want to share about the future?
Thank you so much, Allison. So, we're really excited to continue our core parent support work. We call it our parent concierge services. So, this is our free 101 support where we help families navigate anything from ESAs, STOs, special education evaluations, homeschool curriculum, open enrollment. We help families with any education problem that their child might have for free. And with over 90,000 families on an ESA, we're excited to help
Yeah,
those families find schools they love.
yeah,
We're excited to continue showing how great of a program this is so more families can get on it. And then on the flip side of that, as more families get on the program, more schools are coming to Arizona. So we're excited to continue partnering with schools, helping them understand ESAs and STOs and how that all works so that they can serve more families and more families can have more school options. And not only this, but we love empowering parents. That's really our heartbeat. We want parents' voices to be heard and shared. And so we are equipping parents right now with our Education Navigator cohort with 25 selected parents to really train them on all things ESAs, STOs, special education advocacy, education freedom advocacy, so that they in turn can reach their communities and their people and empower more parents that way
Yeah.
at a really grassroots level. And we can just see more change go forward through that. So we're really excited to continue our parent empowerment piece too.
That is super exciting. Wow. Thank you for
Thanks.
sharing that. That's
Yes.
very exciting. Yeah, so my last question for you is just if you want to share one piece of encouragement, because I know it can be a stressful and overwhelming process. Just one piece of encouragement that you'd love every parent who's listening today to carry with them.
Thank you. So, parents, if you're listening today, we want you to know that your voice matters, and all you have to do is take that next step that's in the back of your mind lingering. And if you don't know what that next step is, if you have a hunch but you're not sure what to do, just know that we are here to provide you with that support. We'll be a sounding board for you. We'll help you think through your options. You're not alone. Your voice matters. We want it to be expressed because we know that you know your child best. And that's what's most important. You're their biggest advocate, and we're here to help you every step of the way in your child's education journey.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You guys are doing such amazing work. And I'm just blessed to have you on today to just get this information out to our listeners. And just thank you for all of the work, that hard work that you're doing. You're truly making a difference. And so I just want to thank you again for coming on to talk to us a little bit this morning.
Thank you so much, Allison. Thank you so much that all you do in your efforts to help families with disabilities. It makes a huge difference, and it's a real honor to be on with you today.
Thank you so much. Well, this concludes the Beyond the Classroom podcast for today. We're going to link all of the Love Your School information so that people can find you. And thanks so much to everyone for joining us today. We'll see you next time.